Alright, me and Mike are working on the old Ford again today, and I don't know what he has planned. I think he wants to get the steering column back in, but I'll wait for him to come out and he can give me a rundown of what he wants to do. But meanwhile, I picked up a hydraulic clutch assembly for this thing. Here's the master clutch assembly, and the slave, and flexible line here. So when the time comes, we should be ready to get the clutch working again. Here's our buddy Mike. What do you got planned today, Mike?
Well, I think we're going to continue on the steering column.
All right.
See if we can at least determine the length of that tube we're going to need, and get an idea about how we're going to mount or restrain the that steering mechanism, the steering box. So that's pretty important.
Right. Okay. We'll show you guys in steps as we go, and we'll just show you the progress.
Yeah.
That way Mike don't have a camera with his head or something. All right. We'll see you when we see you. All right. It's getting towards the end of the day here. We had a short day. We started at noon, and it's about 5 now.
We had a lot of visitors.
And yeah, we had too many visitors, but you know, that's part of the fun.
It is.
So all right, let's see what Mike did here. He actually built this bracket, beautiful bracket for to hold that motor.
Did they see the shortened column
No, I don't
yet?
think they did. We shortened that, and
Okay. Shortened it a lot.
we did. What is that? We took a good foot two out of there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay, but anyway, we got it all ready to go.
So it's going to be held in two places. There's the, well, we already shortened this. That's
Right.
the clamp.
Yeah, we cut that down and shortened that.
So that's going to grip the column here, the tube. But then this bracket here, this is what's actually going to
stabilize it.
stabilize the motor, because think of all the force you would be normally putting on the wheel to do the rotation. Now this motor's doing.
Right.
So that's got to be very well attached. So this is a piece of 3/16 plate. Yeah, it's got 3 anchor bolts on there, 3 bolts, and then it comes up. And then there's a notch here that I had to put in, because there's right up underneath here, there's a piece of, it's almost like C-channel. It's got a flange, a deep channel, and then it comes down, and there's another flange here. And that's the structure for the whole dash. And it's a major component. I don't think it's quite 3/16, but it's close.
Yeah. And this has to fit in between.
Right, in between the
pedals. The pedals.
Well,
right?
yeah, you're right. So now at this point, the way this is going to sit is, this is within the channel, and then what we're going to do is cut another piece of maybe 1/4-inch plate or even 3/16 and bridge the 2 pieces of that channel with a plate. And then we'll drill 2 holes and bolt this to the bridge.
Right.
And then that will afford us the rotation stability. And be able to take the torque that this motor is going to put out, as well as giving us 2 points of support for the whole column. So it'll be supported here and here by the clamp, so we're not going to have to worry about the wheel moving around.
Okay, so right now you're just going to bolt it in there so it's out of the way for next week?
Yeah, exactly. So then
and then take measurements where you have to do for the bracket?
So, right, so that it's there so that I can measure for the bridge, and then we'll come in here and we'll weld that in permanent.
Right.
So
Right. Bolt it up, and then we'll go get some food.
all right.
All right, it's like Mike has that bolted in, and it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, so your wheel's going to end up sitting. Let me put this on there. We're just going to set this on there, I think. Right? What are we doing here?
I don't know. You better know what you're doing, because I sure as hell
I
don't.
think I know what's going on. This has to sit in there somehow. Anyway,
There you go. There you go.
it goes. Right.
That's
so
going to sit there.
then the wheel pretty much, this surface rides right on that. That's a bearing right there. That's the upper support. So that's going to be approximately where your wheel's at now.
Yeah. So now, instead of our stomach hitting the wheel, it's giving us 6 to 8 inches.
That's actually pretty comfortable. You know?
And look, you put your arm straight out, and it's top of the wheel. And then you can also rest your arm on the door handle. There you go. Go for a ride. Look at him. Look at Mike. Beep, beep. Do the horn.
Oh, yeah.
Beep, beep. All right. So that's it. we're that's it for today, and me and Mike, I gotta go feed him.
Yeah.
He's been working on this thing all day. All right, see you guys in the next one, probably in a week maybe. We'll see you next week. All right, it's been a while since me and Mike worked on this thing.
I think it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, because we had a show to go to last week, and the week before that I think was Easter, and then the week before that we didn't work on it for some reason or another. But anyway, so I don't know where we left you guys off at. Let me turn this so it's not in your face. Sorry about that. I'll start my carpet on fire. All right, so this is where we left off. Well, you guys probably know because you probably just watched it. But we're going to try and complete this. Mike has to get under here, and he's got a big hunk of metal right here. And he's going to have to weld this on. Right now it's just clamped in there. So he's going to weld that on, and I got a big welding blanket that he can throw over all this stuff here, so he don't burn the truck down or his garage or anything. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start by welding that bracket in. Alright. Alright. Mike made a template here of what he has to weld under the dash there. Excuse me. Yeah, I think he's going to weld the two little sides here, and then drill the holes here for the bolts. That way we can bolt that in case we ever have to take it out for any reason. And this piece will stay welded in there. So let's see how he's making out. How's it looking, buddy?
Oh, that's looking all right. Got to deburr these holes, and I'm gonna see how it sets up there between that channel. If it looks good, I'll transfer these holes to the piece that's on there, bolt them together, and then tack it in place, and then take that back out and then full weld it.
Okay.
That'll be plenty strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
all right.
Keep going.
Now let's see how Mike's making out. Hey, making out, buddy.
This is the thing we made last time we were here. So this bolt's on the bottom of the power steering assist thing. Unit.
They call it something.
Yeah, they call it something. So the piece we made this before. The piece I just made is this little guy right here. So that's going to get welded in on the channel, and then you're going to be able to come up here and bolt that onto there, and then have this bolted onto the unit, the steering unit, and that's going to be plenty sturdy. That's 3/16 steel. That's going to be plenty sturdy to
even that bracket you're welding to is
overkill to overcome the force of the steering. So shouldn't be a problem.
All right. Yeah, that piece we're just showing you, it bolts directly to this motor here, so it's not like it's gonna be a hose clamp or anything like that, man. It's just this thing gonna be solid as can be. All right, what I got here is the column. This holds the steering column here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut 2¼ inches off of there. That way our steering wheel will be lifted up a little bit, and then what Mike is going to do, this is the column here, he's going to put it in and see where we have to cut this, because we're going to have to shorten this whole thing and make a bracket for this underneath the dashboard. So alright, you guys ain't gonna like this camera work, but I can't even get my head up under there. I'm going to stick the camera up there, and these are the two brackets here, in between here and here, that Mike is going to weld that piece to. Alright.
That ain't going nowhere.
Let's hope we don't have to take it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna climb in there and do the other side.
All right. All right, let me catch you guys up on what we're doing here. Mike has the steering column all in and where it's supposed to be. And what we're going to do now is we're going to connect the Ford spline to the Prius spline. Look at that, Mike's tolerances are so tight.
Yeah.
He's got to put all his ass behind it to get this thing off.
It's snug fit.
There we go, yeah. That's that bushing he made.
Right. So
this is the spline, the Prius spline.
right, and the Prius spline, this is half of what originally went on here. This was like a collapsible feature, I think. So I cut this off, but this little tube came up, and then it came down to a taper, and then to a spline, to a thread for the Prius steering wheel. Right. And I was thinking about using this and welding the piece of the forge shaft to this, but there's not a good way to have this captive in the steering column. So, I mean, you could weld this on here if you wanted to, but if you didn't weld it or attach it somehow, you could pull the steering wheel and this right off of that spline.
Right.
But I think rather than adding another piece, which is this, welding to this, and then having to keep this aligned with the old shaft aligned with this, what I'm going to do is, there's a nice hole here, nice machined hole. I'm going to cut down a length of the old shaft and then turn it down on the lathe to be a really tight fit in this hole here. Send it in, and that'll keep the shaft, parallel with this one, and then just weld around on that spline.
Right. You're not going to be able to get any more center.
And then it's one piece. Yeah, exactly. As long as I get it dialed up in the lathe correctly, the turn down area is going to be concentric to the outer diameter, which will be concentric to this, because chances are that bore is concentric to the shaft itself. So,
yep.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Let's go look at the original shaft, see where you're going to cut it.
Yeah.
Alright, we're over here. Here's the old box and then the shaft, and what we need is the splines on here and the thread for the steering wheel.
Right, that's what the original wheel, or the wheel we're using, mates up with.
Right. So Mike's got two marks here. I don't know if you guys can see them, but just going to put that much into that shaft, and that'll line everything up perfect, and then we'll weld it together.
So that's the extension there, and then this will just be turned down to whatever that inner diameter is,
Right.
And be sleeved in there or shoved in there and then welded, and it's not going anywhere.
No. All right, so we're making pretty good progress. All right, let's cut that off and do something. Nice sharp tool on here, buddy.
Yeah, it's actually not sharp. It's got a rounded edge.
Huh.
Sometimes that really helps for finish, the surface finish. I actually have to change that tool to one with a more pointy edge, so we get a nice. Well, actually, no, we don't want that. We don't want a perfect 90, because that's you get stress risers. It's more prone to cracking, so a tool with a little radius is good in that case. But that one does need touched up. I don't think I have another one. I'll have to touch that one up.
I'm glad you're concerned for my safety.
I am, I'm gonna drive that thing too,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason.
So let me touch. You see the tip of that? It's got a radius, a pretty pronounced radius on it. So I'm gonna touch that up, and we'll go. Oh, we gotta actually measure what we're going to yet. I haven't done that.
Oh,
I just want to take a skin cut on it.
All right. All right. Mike, cut this down. Wow, it's so tight I can't even get it out. There we go. Suction.
Ah, my head.
Suction was holding it in. There we go. Look at that. No wobble, no nothing. That's gonna look factory when you get done with it, buddy.
Yeah, I think so.
Not that anyone's gonna see it's gonna be inside a tube.
We'll know it's there.
That's it.
When we're driving around down the road, 90 mile an hour, we'll know it's there.
Yep. Let's say, wow, the steering wheel feels good.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good solution to
Yeah.
keeping that aligned, keeping that straight. and then I just got to run a weld on there, and you know, then pretty much the column, like the hard mechanics of the column is done from that point. You know.
Yep.
And then it's just a matter of, you know, the wiring for the turn signal has to get sorted out because that's got to go through the tube. But yeah,
It's all downhill from now.
that's it.
All right. All right. I think we're pretty much done for the day. Mike is just looking for a place to hang a computer, I guess you'd call that, right?
Yeah, the computer, the
brain.
driver. Yeah.
You got the steering column all bolted up, and you don't have the nut on top, but
No, but
look how much room he has. Wow.
yeah, so that's something because it used to be right
It used
here.
to be right there, man. I don't know how an old big farmer could have done it, but
It's rigid now. There's a little bit of slop right here, but that's just in the wheel.
right.
Once we put that
Once you
nut
put the
down
nut
there,
on, yeah.
I mean, there's going to be nothing.
When you just turn that wheel, I realize it's like an oval.
The wheel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How about that?
Look at that. Oh yeah, yay. I'll probably change that anyway. Put something nice on it. That's an old raggedy thing. So where you think you're gonna put that big box there?
I think we're going to remove these, the factory brackets, and there's a nice flat spot right up on your firewall here.
Oh yeah, way
up
under there. Yeah. Huh.
And we'll probably just set it flush on there and put like a 2-hole strap, you know, to attach it. Maybe some felt or rubber behind it, you know, just to keep vibration.
Yeah.
Keep it from wanting to slide out. And I think the main power wiring harness will work. This is the motor power here, but we'll have to extend the little feedback harness, which is only three wires.
wire,
That won't be hard.
Huh.
But at least that means, you know, all the wiring for this will be up and straight back. It won't be coming out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the turn signal wiring, that's already tucked in the tube here. So that's out of the way. So, yeah, just have to reconnect that.
Yeah. That's as solid as it can get, man. That's crazy. Crazy solid.
Yep.
Oh well. So that's where we're at. You guys, if you like this, let me know, and we'll keep videotaping this. If not, I'm going to videotape it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, what do you say, buddy?
Enough of this.
Enough of this. All right, see you guys.